I found out about the passing of my grandfather 4 hours before I recorded this episode. With that being said, I'd like to dedicate this episode to him. Descansa en paz, abuelo. Te amo. Hello and welcome to the podcast being broadcast from the sunny city by the Long Beach. I am your host, Juan Rosales, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Inside the Mind. And this week, I am joined. I almost had that. This week, I am joined by the Scoffs. Sorry, Nate and Nuck of the Scoffs. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Nuck, and I like long walks outdoors and comfy moments by the fireside.
All right.
I'm Nate. Play the bass, and I like to be cuddled. I like I like red Kool-Aid. Uh,
Do you like
I
to be the big spoon or the little spoon?
I'm always the big spoon. Like I'm 6'1", so I can't be the little spoon.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
You
So
don't have a choice.
maybe I'll try. Maybe this will be in the COVID time. I can you can branch out, try new things. So maybe I'll try out the little spoon.
I'm 5'6", so I'm like a dessert spoon.
Right.
Oh my God. Hey man, I'm right. Uh, damn, I don't want to say that too. I'm like 5'7", so I'm right there with you, bros. I'm like, we can kind of pass, but we'll, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna get away from that. Um, Nuck, what instrument do you play rather?
I sing, and I play most of the lead guitar stuff.
Most of the lead guitar. All right.
Yeah, Gabor also rocks a solo on the EP, but yeah, for the most part, it's me doing lead stuff.
All right. So your lead guitar and singing. Sorry, I got distracted making sure everything was recording.
No worries.
I see
But
what you mean. My levels do look a little low. I apologize. I'm just trying to play it safe. um so uh Nate Nut Gabor. Oh yes, Gabor is another member of the band and he unfortunately couldn't make it, but he has a very interesting sounding story that I wish he could have told on this podcast. So unfortunately, or that's unfortunate, but the show must go on. Um I would like to start off by asking you guys, how long have you guys been doing this? Let's start off with this cuz Talk is Cheap, is this your first album, I want to say?
hmm Yep.
Yes, okay, good. I didn't want to sound like I was stepping on toes or
No,
sound
this
like I
is
don't
the
know what I'm talking about.
that's the debut. It just came out on May 4th.
There we go. Yes. All right. May 4th, Talk is Cheap, which you can find on bandcamp.com or preferably thescoffs.com. Um so how long have you guys been doing this, since this is the debut band? I feel like that would be the more important question. Well, I'm more curious to know that.
Yeah. Nate, you want to field that or?
Well, yeah. All right. So yeah, it's we say this probably every other practice when we get together, just how surprised we are how quick this came together. So all of us have played and done other things. So it's not like we're not new to being in a band, but this band is
Yeah.
new. So
Okay.
Steve has had this band Drag Strip Riot that was together for a long, long time to pretty big band, right? And so toured around and definitely played all over the region, and then
Hmm.
and got back together with the original members, and long and short, anyway, it sort of ended abruptly
Hmm.
um, around last March,
Oh.
and we chatted and like, hey, we want to keep playing, and
Hmm.
like, well, let me reach out to some people I know who have expressed interest in playing, and Gabor had this big band, Sledgeback, and toured around and all these kind of things. And he told Steve Nuck a long time ago that, hey man, if you ever want to do something cool, or play like a little more faster, aggressive music, I'd love to.
Hmm.
And Rob has played in a million. The drummer has played in a million Seattle bands, and we
Hmm.
sent Steve picked out this Chelsea song, "I'm on Fire," and it's like this kind of has the spirit of this thing that we want to play. This kind of late '70s transition
Mhm.
from pub rock to punk rock sort of thing, and
Yeah.
um, let's show up all knowing this song. And
Hmm.
within about 2 weeks, we all showed up at our practice space and we knew the song and it just felt fantastic. I mean, we it just like clicked.
Mm.
And Steve and Nuck shared like a couple of other, hey, I've got these other ideas. What do you guys think about this? And it kind of goes like this. And everyone kind of put their parts to it. And it was like, oh, this feels really good. And it fell together within a couple of practices. We had
Wow.
8 songs. And so in basically a month of being a band, we booked our first show, like the
Oh
pressure.
wow.
And so it was great because like, all
You
right,
said the pressure zone?
we can't be terrible our first outing. So it really came
Oh.
together quickly. So we've been together just a year and a couple months.
Oh wow. What
Yeah.
snap.
Well,
And you
so the band The Fleshies was coming to town. Well, Fleshies,
Mhm.
from down your way, and I'm a
All
huge
right.
fan of that band. And they hadn't toured in a decade, and I thought, man, I can't wait to see this band. And then we'd already started practicing, and I think Rob, our drummer, said, "Well, why don't we just play it?" And I said, "That's a lot of pressure, but all right, let's
Yeah,
do
Yeah.
it."
yeah, yeah.
So I hit up the owner of the club, and next thing we knew, we were booked. And so I was literally finishing lyrics to the songs the morning of the show and writing them on the set list.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's I can't. I would not be able to. I'm just thinking about it. I'm getting nervous just thinking about that, man. It's insane how quickly everything just it sounds like everything just like fit. Like like when you guys just put the PC together, like there was nothing that went wrong, you know? Like
Yeah. Yeah. I've never had a band lock into place so quickly. Um, yeah, it was crazy. Just the camaraderie, it was already there because we already knew each other, or at least
mhm.
I had known Gabor from playing a bunch of shows with his band previously. Not in his band, but doing bills together. And
Yeah.
Rob, the drummer, and I played together previously in a band called the Graceland Five. So I already knew I could
Mm.
really play well with him. And then Nate had done a year with me in the last iteration of Drag Strip Riot. And so I already knew I was close with Nate. And so that was just an easy. He said, "Let's keep playing." And I said, "Okay, I've got these guys I can call." And that was it. And man, from the moment we plugged in, we just knew, well, this is easy, this feels natural, so let's keep going. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it seems like everything like all of the bands that you were playing with and like it was just teaching you and introducing you to the circle that would eventually become the scoffs.
That's really how it felt. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's I'm like I wish I had there was like a video aspect. I'm like smiling. I got this big like cheesy smile on me. That's that's awesome. Like I'm really speechless right now. That's I love hearing things like that that like it was kind of meant to be, you know, like that's awesome. So that's how it formed. How long did it so overall when you
So you
guys
went
got together and you
robotic.
started practicing and am I still robotic?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
No, now you're good.
All right, all right, for sure, for sure. So after you guys, decided that you guys were going to be a band, how long did it take you guys to write an album?
It wasn't long, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it was
That's about
we
what I was
were
expecting.
probably, I mean, I feel like we had 3 songs, three, and then working on a fourth maybe within just a couple of practices even.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
God, so this was
So
just really easy.
yeah. So the first practice we did that Chelsea cover, "I'm on Fire," which we still
Mhm.
play live. And um, I'd say by the second practice, we started working on another song that I had in the hopper called "The Lonely Ones," and we didn't record that one, but we're about to in mid-August.
Mm.
But that song came together
Oh,
super
all right.
fast, and we went, "Wow, this is catchy." And then I can't remember
Mhm.
the third one. I think maybe that was a song called "Short Fuse," which starts off the EP. And
Yeah.
It was basically like each practice, hey, I've got this idea, and then we'd start working up that song. And so then we'd go back and work on the last one that we worked on, and then we'd do our cover song. And then so each one it was add another
You
song, and then the next practice work on all those songs. So I'd say a couple months
hmm,
before we had the
a couple
the
months.
beginnings of an EP. Yeah.
Damn. That's that's insane. That's not something that you usually hear. Usually it's like we had to grind out and someone dropped out and this happened and this was just like buttery smooth. That's so I gotta ask then,
We
have
hit the
there been
ground
any
running so
struggles? Like
no.
you you cut out, you said
Uh,
you
we
hit
hit
the
the
ground running
ground.
so fast?
Yeah, like we were chasing the ball downhill. By the time we had enough songs to do a show, I mean, like I said, we
Mhm.
played a show the day that we finished all the songs basically. And then from there on, I mean, we did two shows in one day in our first month of being together. And we
Mhm.
just started booking out like crazy. Word got out pretty quick,
Damn.
and we just started playing as much as we could because we wanted everyone to hear or at least see the band name everywhere. And so we thought, well, we'll take any show that they offer. And so we did.
Hell yeah.
And you asked if there was any difficulties with anybody along the way. Not
You
at all. And that's the weird part. I've never
mhm.
been in a band that didn't argue.
you you cut off for a second. You
Oh,
said you
my,
never
Yeah.
been in a band.
sorry.
No, no, it's all good. You said you never been in a band that what?
I've that didn't argue. This band gets along very well. We're all adults and we talk about our
Yeah.
feelings and we have cry
Which
sessions
is the most
and
important part. Oh, all right.
we do primal
Yeah, I
screaming
feel like the
You
together
guys
communication
and a
is
group hug before every show.
pretty open. That's the great part. Yeah.
all right. Yeah, that's
It's not
communication is
being
a
in a band
gigantic
when we're
part.
20, you know? So if
Yeah.
any of us have a disagreement or, hey, we don't agree on this, like we can really just talk and say our opinion. And
Mm.
none of us are sort of married to a particular stance or things like that, like open to, hey, even if it's just, arranging and things like that. And like, let's change this part. Or how about you think if I add this thing that, ultimately might change someone's original idea and things like that. And that part's been great. There's really been no turmoil or drama, anything like that. I feel like same as Nuck was saying, like not been in a band where I feel like we're all on the same page, or if we even have different ideas, we all find a way to move forward with an idea where we're all pretty happy with everything. So that part
Mm.
is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it sounds like it, and it sounds very easy. So I leads me to the next question. What is the creative process like for you guys? Because it seems like it's mostly just get together, jam, and everything flows. Um,
Usually
but would
someone
you
has an
guys?
idea. So like this newest song I'm working on, Gabor sent me a sound file of him kind of humming over the basic structure of a song. And I said, okay, let me see
Mhm.
if I can write some words to it. And so now I've written a full song to it, and we'll start work on that one after we record in mid-month. Um, and then other songs have been I show up and then I play him a riff, and I go, okay, I got this song. It kind of goes like this. And then Gabor will say, send me a recording of it. And so I'll sit down and I'll just record the guitar ideas that I have. I'll send them to him. He'll come
Mhm.
back the next practice having learned all of it. Same with Nate. Like they'll both, Nate will add, different bass accents and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of jam with Rob and he'll say, what if I do this? Let's put some pauses here. And then we go,
Mm.
yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. And so that's kind of how it flows. As far as lyrics go, that's mostly, well, that's been me up to this point.
You you cut off after lyrics. I apologize.
Yeah,
No.
the lyrics
Oh,
wind up being all
as far as
nuts.
lyrics go,
Yeah.
Oh, so they wind up being all nuck.
Yeah,
Is
Nuck
that?
does all brings in all the words for sure. Like that's and it's
Mm.
it works best that way because it's, you know, I think to sing someone else's words or whatever, or it's his perspective and things like that. And I think, you know, it's his voice. Ultimately has to sing them. So,
Hmm.
and you know, and they're singing about things that have some meaning. I mean, I think it'd be a much different story if, you know, you're writing about, like you mentioned the song "The Lonely Ones," you know, this perspective of, you know, the girl who was picked on and now is the girl that you want to talk to, or, you know, like something
Hmm.
heavy like our song "Little Blue Tyrants," which sounds unbelievably catchy, but is about.
Yes.
I think if it was someone else's words, you know what I mean, it would
Hmm.
just resonate as well. So yeah, the lyrics are definitely Nuck's territory, since he has to
Wow.
ultimately sing them.
Yeah. All right. That's wow. All right. Little Blue Tyrants. Yeah, that's actually something that was kind of I'm trying to see if I wrote that down. That like it's very catchy, but if like if you just mindlessly listen to it, like you could just like, oh, okay, it's a catchy punk song. But if you listen to the words, like it gets a lot heavier when you actually start listening to it,
Exactly.
which is like it's a very I like that dichotomy or the duality of that. I'm not sure
Yeah,
which is the right word.
I
But I
like them
like
both.
that.
I
Yeah.
like them both. The duality and the dichotomy. Yeah, that both work.
Yeah.
The ebony and the
Yeah.
ivory.
Yeah, exactly. Coming together in perfect harmony.
Uh,
Um
yeah,
Yeah.
I what I
well, oh,
wanted.
sorry, what?
I very purposefully wanted. I wanted to make something subversive that snuck up on you with
Mm.
that song. I had the title hit me first. I was sitting at work. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. I was sitting at work and just the title hit me, and I thought, I like that title. Where am I going with this? And then uh, I thought about all the stuff that was making me mad. And you got to think, like, we wrote that a year ago or whatever, and then all this George Floyd stuff, I call it the George Floyd situation blew up.
Mhm.
And, the anger it's everywhere now, but
Yeah.
that situation existed before, and I was pissed about it then. And so I wrote about it. And I thought, well, this is I had this melody in mind for Little Blue Tyrants. I thought, okay, well, that's
Mhm.
catchy. And then I wrote around it, and I thought, what if I get really subversive with this? What if I create an earworm that also has something to say? And
Mhm.
so that's what I went for. And um, the band was, I remember Gabor when I came to practice with that one. He said, "Where do you get an idea like Little Blue Tyrant? How does that even how did that come to your brain?" I said, "I don't know, man. It just
You
popped in, sounded catchy. I wrote it down." And so, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry, you just cut off a little bit, but thankfully I was able to get to hear everything you said. That's yeah, that's a good question. How do you like how do you make something so catchy out of like ACAB? Like all cops are bad or all cops are bastards, and you're sitting here like ACAB, and I'm sitting here like singing along in my head, and then I start listening to. I'm like, oh, sneak up. That's why I snapped earlier. It snuck up on me. That was the perfect thing because like I'm just humming along to the rhythm, and like when you actively listen to it, it sneaks up on you. that's
Yeah,
that's the perfect word to describe it. And it's insane that you started writing this a year ago, because honestly it feels like you wrote it a couple months ago,
yeah, and
like uh,
and that's the
along
sad
with
part.
yeah, 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 unfortunately things haven't changed, they've only gotten worse. And same thing with the album. The back of the cover art for the back is a whole bunch of cops lined up against protesters.
Yeah,
um like that's all of that, it just became more relevant with time. It didn't diminish the message, it just made it stronger, which is just sad. But
yeah. A line like they choked him to death on the ground that day. The same exact thing happened a year after writing that song, and that's just so frustrating that
mm,
we're still. I mean, we have to talk about it every year, and we have to fight against it every year. It's just, yeah, it's no wonder that people are pissed off and rioting.
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
You mentioned the back cover. I want to say there was something interesting
yes.
about that. Is that photo is from the archives of our local paper in Seattle.
Mm.
That was a standoff that happened on our freeway in 1970, I believe. It was a
Oh
student
wow.
walkout from the University of Washington, and they all walked down and they gathered on the freeway to protest. And there was just this line of cops against a few. I think it was 3,000 people on the freeway
Wow.
at their highest count. Um, yeah, and they marched down the freeway and then off the freeway and down to our city hall. But so that's also very Seattle centric. I wanted
Hmm.
stuff that was true to our local history and stuff. So yeah.
Yes. And excuse me, I didn't know that, but I mean that's heavy, and it makes it does make it more significant to you guys since it's a local event that happened.
Hmm.
And it's still, I'm sure it's still within the memory of your community. I gotta ask though, when did you guys decide on that back artwork?
Hmm. It was stuff that I started kind of populating our Facebook with when we first decided we were a band.
Hmm.
And then when the band got together and talked about artwork, and I had suggested this artist that I thought would be great for it, Super Beast Designs, and they all, Nate and Gabor and Rob all liked his stuff and said, yeah, yeah, let's do it.
Hmm.
I said, all right, I think I'm going to hire this guy. So I sent him. I said, these are some of the images we've been using, and
Yeah.
he said, oh yeah, I can work with that. And so boom, he sent that back, and I said, I love it. And that was
Hmm.
it.
All right. I was, yeah, that's that's kind of like a perfect storm, but I asked because it's kind of like it's it's like the song, like you made the song Little Blue Tyrants a year ago, and it only became more relevant. So I'm kind of curious, like if you decided on the artwork like a while ago, and it,
I
same thing
see.
with the song, it just became more relevant.
Yeah,
um
yeah. I guess it was decided. Let's see. We wrapped the album recording in November,
mhm.
and so it was sometime after that. It had to be maybe December or something. That
Oh
no, it was
yes,
probably
yeah.
it was probably in the final stages of October, November recording when I hit up Jim at Super Beast, and he had it back to me within a couple weeks, and so yeah, I mean before the new year.
Damn. Yeah, so uh, mm, that's insane. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy just how perfect that storm went, like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then the situation with Diaz Love, who was protesting in Seattle, and I'm sorry, I forget the other um, person that got injured because I'm nervous on an interview. Um, but uh,
Please don't be.
but we had somebody run down our protesters who were protesting on the freeway, and so
Mm,
again, it ends up being too relevant, which I didn't intend, and I wish it wasn't the case,
mhm.
but history repeats itself, and so
Yeah.
we had protests on the freeway again, but this time we had uh, some piece of human garbage mow down two of our protesters.
Mm, yeah, it's unfortunate. I had seen a couple videos.
Summer
I'm not.
was the other protester.
Yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate it happens. And I wish it didn't, and I wish this wasn't so relevant. Unfortunately, but like you said, history repeats itself for those to choose to ignore it.
Yeah.
Um, but since we are already talking about Little Blue Tyrants and the album itself, um, let me go into my notes here. I was listening to the album, and I just like to go through the album and just see, like, just write little notes, little, like, what I think about it, like, like whatever comes to mind.
Hmm.
Let's see. Well, yeah, with Little Blue Tyrants, I just wanted to know more about it, and it was, yeah, we already pretty much covered that. Um, let's go with Short Fuse. Short Fuse. A lot of these songs are like cat like I don't want to say poppy, but like catchy. Like poppy in the sense that it's catchy, like they're earwormy, you know?
Yeah.
Like so Short Fuse is really catchy, like but it goes into sections where I legit like I was so last night I was listening to the song and I was setting up one of my guitars and I legitimately found myself headbanging. I'm like, whoa, damn, that's like it transitioned like it's catchy, like it goes from like a catchy like an earwormy part to like I was like I saw my hair flying around. I'm like, oh damn, all right, I'm getting too into this. Relax, I need to go back to my guitar. Like, um, but so yeah, I really like that it's again with the dichotomy I need to figure out which one's right, but that difference, like it's catchy but it turns into a headbanger. um and what's the story behind this? Because obviously it's about having a short fuse and not dealing with people's shit too much, but is there anything specific that triggered this, or is this just about you just kind of screaming out how you feel?
Yeah, there is some stuff, some background stuff on it. Well, first of all, my writing process, and
Mm-hmm.
Nate's seen this in previous projects. I don't consider any song done until the song gets stuck in my head. So if
Mm-hmm.
the melody, if I can't stop repeating it in my head, then I know, all right, this one's baked. It's ready to go. So
Yeah.
by the time I bring a melody to the table and I call a song done,
Mm-hmm.
they're all going to be sort of earwormy. That's kind of my goal with every song, is to get it a melody stuck in your head. Um, with that song specifically, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff about. I really I don't like thought policing. I don't like people trying to force their opinion on me. While I don't like some of the segments of our society and some of their beliefs, I also
Mm-hmm.
don't want to live in a society where I'm not free to think and I'm not free to speak. And
Absolutely.
so some of that is in the song, and you can always speak your mind, and we're going to disagree sometimes. You clean up
Mm-hmm.
your side of the street and I'll clean up mine. It just
Yeah.
fuck off, go do you, and leave me to do me. Wow, I did me just last night, but the so yeah, I
Awesome.
have a lot of anger around that, and I'm kind of
Yes.
known for having a pretty bad temper. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
I'm working on it.
If
I,
if this makes sense, I can hear you trying to like like restrain yourself when you're talking about this.
yeah, I suppose I tense up a little bit. I really don't like being told what to do. And I feel like
Hmm.
that's such a big thing now. Like, people want to control how you talk and how you act and
Hmm.
what you wear and who you know and what you listen
Absolutely.
to. And I can't fucking take it. I don't live like that. I'm an
No.
artist. I've had an artist brain my whole life. And
Hmm.
I just, it just goes where it goes. And that's part of the nature of me being an artist. And I'm not one of those people that is trying to make excuses for racist rhetoric or anything like that. So don't,
Hmm.
I hope anybody listening doesn't take it there. That's not what I'm talking about. But I do think it's dangerous to police thoughts. Like, what was that movie where the Tom Cruise, they go hunt down people that thought crimes. They're going to get them before they ever commit a crime.
Was that?
Um, yeah, I
That's
don't
total.
remember.
I don't
but
remember either. I know the movie you're talking about, but I don't exactly remember. But I completely understand what you're saying. That's that whole like thought policing is kind of the basis to PC culture in a way. Like they they you can't say this word, you can't say that way, you can't do this, you can't do that. If
yeah.
you dress in this way, you're culture appropriating. Like it, and to an extent they are right. Like the truth is never on either side of the extreme. It's usually somewhere in the middle.
Well, yeah,
Um,
nothing's black and white, and nobody lets you paint
exactly.
in gray hues anymore, and no one's infallible.
Yes,
So to be
that's
held
the
to this
perfect.
standard, it's an impossible standard to attain. Nobody can exist like that. I may wear a shirt from the 90s with a Malcolm X quote on it or something, and then somebody's going to get me for racial appropriation. Like, I'm not trying to, man. I just like the shirt, or I like the
Hmm.
quote, or I was inspired by it, or I really like the
Hmm.
person that said it. I'm not trying to steal anybody's culture or identity. I want to just go through life being able to appreciate things that I love, and expressing myself. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's going to step on toes by accident. And I think it's all about intention and the nuances of that. And I think people have gotten away from that. They've gotten so extreme, white, black, and it just that's not the way brains work. That's the way computers work.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, 0 and 1.
Yeah. And I
If
hate to
there's no
talk.
two, it's just
I
no
hate to
go.
speak for Nate. That's my emotion behind that song, and that's kind of what went into it. And I've never really told the story about that
Hmm.
song, so that's kind of that's the first time I've said
Hmm.
out loud what was going through my head when I
Oh,
wrote it. And when I announce it on stage, I
yeah.
just say this song's about having a really bad temper. Yeah,
Well, I'm glad. Thank you for that.
yeah.
Uh, I'm glad I got to get that story. And I didn't just get to hear that it was about a bad temper. But you make a lot of good
Ultimately, I mean
points.
that.
Go
Thanks.
ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
All right. You make a lot of good points though. A lot of the PC culture and just how people operate today, it gets to be dangerous to. I mean, like I said, they are right to a certain extent, but once either side starts going extreme, things start to get dangerous. Um,
Yeah, people are people, and we have to understand, and we have to take into consideration that everybody's going to make a mistake, and we have to
yeah.
forgive them their mistakes, especially when the intention is good. But outside of that, that's when people say something dumb or do something dumb. Beyond
Mhm.
that, just the idea that uh, I don't like towing the line for anything. I don't like any political party, um, and so being forced to lock in step is just not something um, that I'm ever gonna do, and it's nothing that I'm, it's nothing I won't fight against.
Right on.
That's a double negative. Right? It is something that I will never stop fighting against.
I don't know. I'm confused now.
Yeah,
No, but I understand, and yeah, I just some. I don't want to say that I wish more people were like that, but I just wish more people had that attitude. Like we don't have to fall in line. Like we can all be individuals, and uh, like we all have different like even though someone might say something the wrong way, their intention might be in the right place. Like yeah, it just I don't know. I'm confusing myself, but I completely agree with everything you say. Intention
Well, I
gets
think one of the
lost,
things
and
we've lost the ability to do is just to ask someone, "What do you mean by that?" You know what I mean? Where it doesn't have to turn
absolutely.
into a battle of like,
Hmm.
you said something. I think it might have come across as kind of dumb or something like that. And just like, hey, can you clarify that for me? Like, there's no discussion. I think kind of was what I
Yes.
was getting at a little bit there too. Is that, um, you know what I mean? Because and because we often project intent, right? We like, well, I'm just
Hmm.
going to assume what you meant, and then now we're off to the races. Like I'm 0 to 100 instead of like, hey, what do you mean by that? Because you may not be aware that this thing you're saying or doing is landing a certain way.
That's true. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. We don't there's no longer any discourse. There's not like people don't want to sit down and ask, like you said, Nate, what do you mean by that? Like it's just, oh, you said this 0 to 100 straight through. Like
yeah,
there's no understanding anymore.
yeah,
Um
yeah. Understand. I think that's the big
yeah.
one. We've lost the capacity for understanding, and I really like how diverse my friend group is, and I like all of my weirdo friends and their
Mhm.
weird artist brains, and I want them to be able to be weird and say weird
Yeah.
things and do weird things, and yeah. Yeah, I just want everybody to support each other and stop beating the shit out of each other when they're trying to be a good person. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. That got a lot deeper than I anticipated.
Sorry, I know I
No, no, don't
keep making this
apologize.
shit all depressing.
No, 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 no. Don't apologize. I like this. This is different. This is something. I mean, and it's something that needs to be talked about. It's not like we're sitting here talking about nonsense.
Yeah,
But to to that to that point that I mean, by your words, your friends are weird. A lot of mine are as well, and I like that. I found that like times like this, uh, like you said, our diverse friend group, they don't get to be themselves completely. At least they don't feel like they get to be themselves.
yeah,
So it's unfortunate that like along with the physical destruction, there's also like internal destruction of the individual going on that we can't really see because it's kind of happening at essentially the microscopic level.
yeah. And I mean, there's good things that have grown out of this new culture as well, which is, there's a lot more understanding of other cultures and things like that, or at least people are asking more questions or trying harder to understand
Hmm.
people from the other side of the tracks, which is cool. It's just, yeah, it's all the policing around it. I don't like cops anyway, so I don't want to be policed.
Absolutely, yeah. So they just go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. That's that's crazy. That's I'm just um so let's go on to talk is cheap. Um I love how short fuse and talk is cheap just like they just paint a picture of who you guys are like right off the top. The first 6 minutes that we get with you guys is like it's just no bullshit, you know. I got a short fuse and talk is cheap. Don't tell me, show me. Like it says a lot about you guys if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I tried to be more personal with the stuff that I wrote about these. Some of my thoughts, as I've gotten older, I'm not writing about chicks and cars anymore.
Hmm.
I feel like I want to express myself
Yeah.
and hopefully also some of the feelings of my friends and bandmates.
Hmm.
It one thing that's always concerning writing a song is am I representing everyone or am I just giving myself a platform to shout? So, um, yeah.
That's actually a really good point that I want to talk about that a little bit because the singer is always like he's the voice of the band. So
Hmm.
right when you told me Nuck that you were the singer, like right away I'm like, "Oh, okay, so in like all my fault, like I relate like my note is like I relate to that intro like way too much." Um so like in my head like when you said you're the singer, I'm like, "Oh, okay, so it's Nuck that's saying that." You know, it's not necessarily not that the band doesn't agree with it, but in my head, and I'm assuming the listener's head, like it's Nuck that feels this way, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so it's really good. I don't want to say good. I'm trying to find a better word for good, but it's a good thing that you're mindful of like not just being selfish and like, oh, this is how I feel. You know, it's also how does Nate feel? How does Gabor feel? You know,
Well,
it's not just
I can't say that I haven't been selfish with writing the lyrics, but I often I question myself about that after I finish a song, and I think, well, I wonder,
Mhm.
did I
Well,
step on toes with this, or
Yeah, well, I think what I like about Nuck's writing
hmm
is, so like say we'll use "Fault" as an example there. That song, "All My Fault."
yeah,
Um, Even though Nuck wrote it and it's from his perspective, he
hmm
writes in such a general enough sense. Like even like you said, I relate to that intro so much.
yeah,
It's I think a good, because if it was, if Nuck had written, like, oh, I blame me for, and then insert some very specific anecdote that he had, like, well then now I can't relate to that. But
yeah,
when it's general enough, like, I used to blame society when like then for every stupid thing that went wrong,
hmm
and I never took a look at me. when I was the whole problem all along kind of thing. So like
Yeah.
that idea is that, oh, I can relate to that regardless of like what situation you sort of insert yourself into. And so
Hmm.
that's what I really like about his writing style. He can write a personal song, but it's not so narrow that the listener or us in the band can't apply like, oh yeah, I dig that because it can still relate to me. Like I didn't go through the same things you did, but I went through something that applies there. And I just think that's
Yeah.
it's a nod to his songwriting ability. I mean, he's been writing songs for a long time, and
Hmm.
through and through stylistically different ways and stuff like that. So that's what I really like about these group of songs. He's saying like I'm writing from a much more personal perspective, but overtly you wouldn't know it, right? I mean, I think they're very relatable things. If you think about how often we push our blame outwards, and that song then is like, oh, you know what? I really should be working on me some. It's not always everyone else's fault. Sometimes it is all my fault.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. And like I said, that's something that I've had to learn myself. So I can relate to that completely. And I just wanted to applaud your writing style, Nux, because it seems like you're very deliberate in everything you try to do and everything you try to convey, and it comes through clearly. Like like I said, it's very deliberate.
Thanks, man. I I pour over them for a while, so I'll write the crux of a song and then I'll circle back and revisit it and then revisit it and revisit it. And that's everything from looking at syllables and how they land on the beat.
Hmm.
I hear writers, I'll hear some songs that drive me insane because I think they could have added an and in there and it would have fit the rhythm of that portion of the song better. And so I'll go back and I'll try to massage it and make it so it flows. So the rhythm is just perfectly in step with how the song flows. And I want it to feel organic and natural. And so sometimes that's taking a word out and simplifying a line. Sometimes it's adding two words in. Sometimes I end up with a really wordy song like Talk is Cheap, which is there's a it's rapid fire lyrics, and I'm saying quite a lot in there, but
Yeah.
it it fit that staccato delivery of the song. Da, 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 da. It's I when I heard the song, I wanted a rhythm that went along with a chugging guitar.
Mm.
So um, so that's yeah, kind of how I wrote it.
Yeah, see that, and that just like what your explanation just it just keeps it goes it steps in line really well with what I was saying, that you're very deliberate, like you know what you want to do,
Yeah.
and you do it, and it comes out really well, because I mean the listener, myself, is able to, like, I'm able to relay the message that you wanted to send,
Mm.
which is something that, in my opinion, takes a lot of skill. And just in that, I guess you can definitely see how long you've been writing lyrics and how many bands you've been through. Like you could
Yeah.
just see the experience,
Yeah.
because it's very difficult. In my experience, I'm no musician. I just like to play every now and then, but it's very difficult for me to make like two lines that rhyme together,
Hmm.
let alone an entire song where I'm deliberately sending a message.
Yeah.
So like I have to applaud it.
Thanks, man. I
uh,
my writing style is sort of it's informed by pop sensibilities. It's kind of deeply ingrained in me. Like I said, going for the hook.
mhm.
Um, and there's a lot of hardcore punk that isn't melody centric and isn't, and that's not me denigrating it. It's that I love stuff like Black Flag and and old hardcore punk, but
Yes.
I just my natural inclination doesn't write like that, um, and so what you're hearing, that very deliberate delivery is a result of that because I'm crafting that thing to be as catchy as possible, and then I look at the lyrics and uh, especially nowadays I go back and I look, is it too on the nose? Can I make this a little more um, painting with a larger brush. So there's
Mm.
or adding more gentle hues to the palette.
Well, they say a song is never finished; it's just abandoned.
Yeah,
So I,
true.
I, I completely understand that. You're always gonna go back like I could have said this, I could have maybe pronounced it better, I could have put this there. Or, yeah,
Yeah,
I understand that.
and now there's some songs where I feel like it came out exactly like I wanted. Talk is Cheap is an example of exactly how I wanted that
Mhm.
song to sound. When I heard it in my head, that's how it sounded, and but I didn't know that's what I was going for until we had the product, and then I looked at the other
Ooh.
guys in the band, and I went, man, it's like we pulled it right out of my brain. I love this song so much because it's exactly what I dreamed of making. I just didn't know that this was how we got there. I didn't know it had these harmony parts. I didn't know it had this thing on the drums. I didn't know Gabby was going to do this on the guitar. It just
Yeah.
oh yeah, and I remember talking to Nate when we got the playback, and I was like, I didn't know you were doing this stuff on the bass. I love that accent there because it totally it builds the tension in this portion of the song, and it's exactly what it needed. So sometimes you nail it, and that was one of them for me, and I was so excited when I heard that song, which is why I really wanted it to be like kind of the lead single of it. I was so proud of it.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's an awesome song. I love the particularly for me the rhythm guitar stands out. That's just one of the little the notes that stands out, or little notes that I wrote down. But yeah, they're all great songs. But personally for me, I gotta like my favorite is In Cold Blood, bros.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
that was an unintentional segue. I didn't know I was going there.
That was well
I
done.
just kind of thank you. I didn't mean to do that, but thank you. No, yeah. In I don't know what it is. It's a very grand song for like for being not to say punk is not like grand or it's this or but punk is known for being generally bare bones. Just
Yeah.
electric or a rhythm guitar, uh, uh like a 3-4 piece drum set and a singer and or
Hmm.
a bassist. You don't even need a singer. The rhythm guitarist does the singing. Um, so it was just very grand. It was like it caught me off guard. Just grand is the best way I could put it. Like kind of almost going towards an Iron Maiden kind of like just the scale of it. I don't I don't know what I'm trying to say at this point. I just really like that song. That was uh yes. Yeah, no, yeah, that's what it yeah. It was almost going towards Iron Maiden because there's certain parts where you were like I don't want to sing it, but like in the I guess the chorus or the pre-chorus where you would
Hmm.
just like in cold blood now the like it I can see that being like Bruce Dickinson inspired or something like so I don't know that's just what my brain goes to because I listen to a lot of Iron Maiden. I apologize if you had something else in mind, but just the scale of it, I love it. I love it. It just it completely caught me off guard. Um,
It is probably the most complex arrangement. You know what I mean? Because there's a kind of a very like quickly picked intro, and then it gets to the verse, and then like you're saying, like the little pre-chorus where it starts to build, and there's this background, sorry,
mhm.
back where we're ooh, underneath it, and
Yeah.
where Nuck's still singing this part, and then the very shouty in cold blood, and then there's this awesome breakdown in the center that our
Mhm.
drummer Rob is like he almost kind of built the center part of that arrangement where he's got this really cool thing he's doing on the toms and so it makes this song so dynamic and then after the solo and everything where everything drops out and you're left with just Nuck's guitar of this very punk kind of picked part before we all join back again. It's I know Rob has mentioned it's his most favorite song to play. that we do because it
Oh.
has this amazing drum part right in the center where it
Hmm.
really just breaks down. It's big, powerful hits on all the toms, and I'm playing
Yes.
chords on the bass too, like to just try to really thicken it up.
Hmm.
Um, it's a really I love the arrangement that Nuck has eventually kind of come up with, and then that we sort of all put our little our fingerprint on as well.
Mm.
Yeah, this song started as an idea years ago, and I've tried different iterations of it. I've tried it, I've done acoustic sets where I've played it and tried it with different lyrics and different arrangements and different bands. I knew I wanted this song. I wanted this spooky, uh, kind of haunting sounding song.
Hmm.
Um, and but I wanted it to sound vicious, and it never sounded vicious in previous versions that I tried. It had the minor keys and stuff, so it sounded dark, but it
Hmm.
didn't have an attack like it does. And so it took getting together with these guys in this band to make this song finally work. And now it sounds like it should have always. So I wrote a chorus for it that never existed. Rob put that breakdown in there, which just added so much more to the song.
Hmm.
There's more dynamics with two guitars on it, so I'm going up the neck and Gabby's going down it. Um, so yeah, I really love how that one turned out, and I couldn't have done it without these guys specifically because that one really has everyone's stank on it. Like it didn't ever sound like that in my head when I wrote it, and then
Hmm.
once they got a hold of it, it turned into this. And so yeah, I'd say that was our first like super collaborative piece where we all put in on it equally, and it turned into that. And so you say Iron Maiden, like I'm definitely an old school metal dude.
Hmm.
I love old Iron Maiden stuff. Like Peace of Mind's my favorite album, by the way.
Oh
Um,
yes. Yeah.
but I wouldn't say I was inspired by them for this song. This was
Hmm.
more, I get a feel on a song and I'll say, oh, this kind of feels like an insert band here. The one that I
Hmm.
thought of when, at least when in the recording studio for this, for the approach to how it's mixed and everything was Blitz.
Hmm.
And I was thinking of the song
Write
New
them down.
Age and how uh, it's kind of dark sounding and has kind of like this reverb on it and stuff,
Hmm.
and I thought I want that kind of delivery, and so that kind of informed where I went with the solo. I wanted that that really tight palm muted solo style in there instead
Yeah.
of doing a lot of bends and a lot of you know I didn't want a busy solo in there. I wanted something simple and driving that would match
Hmm.
kind of the attack of the song.
Driving is a very good word. That's a yeah. Driving is the best way I would put it, and I think you did that well. I think you served you served the song well in that aspect, because it didn't need to be busy, and you brought yeah it you see what I'm saying, like exactly what you want is like very it it translates well, like when from your mind to the page, I guess.
Yeah, thanks. I'm always excited when it works out well, and like
Yes.
there's been some that haven't, and I have to take them back to the drawing board and revisit them a couple
Oh,
years
of
later.
course.
But
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
not all of them are going to be winners.
nope,
Um,
not every
but
baby is pretty.
exactly. I've never heard that one, but that's perfect. But I would say you guys have a very strong lineup of five pretty babies right here.
Yeah.
I hope that that's not taken out of context, but we'll go from here.
These guys
uh,
make the prettiest babies.
right. Oh
Yeah,
my
and
goodness.
that song is interesting, which is probably why it's in the middle because it's of the EP because it's different
Mhm.
than the other ones in that it's this dark, minor key song. And so, you
Mhm.
know, you think of a roller coaster when you look at how you want to lay out an album. You want to start it, uh, you want to build this tension and then get it up to the top, and then you go flying down, and then you're at this low kind of dark point, and it's building more tension coming back up. And so I thought the song was in a good spot there in the middle. And how we laid out what order of the songs and all that stuff, that was all done with the whole band's involvement. We
Mm.
whiteboarded them and went over like which songs do we want to record, which song, because we had a bunch that we could do, and we chose these because they represented different sides of our musical catalog. And
Mhm.
so we wanted to kind of show each sort of thing that we do as our debut. And so that's how we hit upon these and the order that we put them in.
Mm. I can dig that, and it's certainly a very diverse, like a very diverse sound. Um, like in Cold Blood is it like I said, it's a grand sounding track in quotes, and then Little Blue Tyrants is like this like happier or like more catchier song with darker undertones.
Yeah.
Um, and then All My Faults is just like a driving punk song, just starting off with the screaming, like like yeah, you put it the best way. It's a list of songs that can show what you guys do, or yeah, yeah.
We existed for about a year before anybody really heard any music. You know, they just saw our presence. They saw we were playing a bunch of shows. A lot of people saw us live locally,
Hmm.
and so the name was getting out there. But people were thinking, what the hell do they sound like? Um, and so
Yeah,
we
that
thought we thought if we're gonna put out an EP, then let's show them everything that we do. And so
that's right.
here's a cross section of everything stylistically that we consider our sound.
Absolutely. Uh, that's a good. That's the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it because I can't put it any better. I'm not gonna try to reinvent the wheel. You already said it. You know,
Just put bigger
that's
tires on it.
it, right, right. But yeah, that's a perfect way to sum up the album. I dug it. Um, uh, I mean, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I love the album. I look forward to what comes next. And I'm already very curious because you brought that up earlier. Um, so I'm already curious for that. And
Yeah, we're gonna go in and record with Jesse O'Donnell from the band Noise, and so we'll be
mm,
doing that August 15th.
August 15th. All right. Ooh. Is there a name or is there any sort of name that I can get? Any sort of working title?
Uh, not yet.
That's the hard one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have some ideas, and you had asked earlier about Needle City. You were so
Oh yes,
I think before the
beforehand.
call we were talking about that. So that's my homage to our city. The icon of the city is the Space Needle. So
Yes.
it's homage to that, but it's also a reference to our really bad drug and homeless problem that we have up here. It's gone
Hmm.
completely unchecked. And so it's a tongue in cheek nod to there's needles everywhere. It's Needle City. Um,
Yeah, that was
so
kind of what I was gonna ask. Go ahead.
so that is it's probably going to be an EP title somewhere down the road. I don't know if it'll be this one because there's a song that I'm working on that will share that title. So
Mhm.
we'll see. Yeah, we haven't gotten into what the heck we'll call this thing. We're still finalizing exactly what we're going to play on there, but I think we have a good idea. So, yeah, we'll see.
For sure. All right. Well, I'm
TBD.
excited. Yes, to be determined.
Yeah.
And whenever that gets announced, I am definitely gonna check it out and I'll post it up. Um, but until then, it seems like I am running out of time, and I would just like to say thank you. I love the if that was a sneeze, bless you. I
I'd
love
like to say
the
bless you.
Sorry, I didn't get
um,
to the mute button in time. That was even me. That was my lady friend off in the other room. So I apologize. I like, oh, I missed the mute button.
it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Bless her too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, bless her too. Let her know. um, but yes, I love the album. Everything. God damn it. I was allowed that sneeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, she must feel better.
She definitely
Right.
feels better
Right.
now than that with that sneeze out. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. But yes. The Scoffs, Talk is Cheap. I love the album. I love the artwork. I'm looking forward to the future projects, and just thank you for coming on. Thank you for the extra goodies that you guys sent with the album. My dad says thank you for the koozie. I don't drink, but he does, so
Awesome.
so
Perfect.
it's still getting put, it's getting put to good use.
Cool.
um and yeah, all I've got to say is thescoffs.com is where they prefer to buy their merch. Buy a shirt, go check out the album. If not,
Yeah.
then
Check out the
get
video.
the video as well. Oh, there's videos.
We
Yeah, we
got a
got a
video. Gabor just made us a video for just
Oh,
space, but he edited together a little video for short fuse, like a performance video kind of
hmm.
thing.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't.
And it's
I
running on. It's on our. No, you might be able
YouTube.
to say, but it's on our Facebook page, I'm sure, and
mhm.
it's running on Blank TV, which is a big music outlet. Blank TV on
Blank
they have a
TV.
YouTube channel.
Yes. Oh, okay. All right. I gotta check them out because I was listening to the album on YouTube, but I didn't see any YouTube videos on your channel. I just saw the tracks. So I'm kind of bummed out I
There's
didn't get to
some
see that beforehand.
there's some channel out there. So DistroKid will release videos for every track, and
Hmm.
they're just it's just a image of the logo basically,
Yeah.
or the cover, and then
Yeah.
somebody made a Scoffs channel. I don't know who, but it's not ours, but it says the Scoffs and has our background image and stuff. And then there's ours that has live videos, that has our videos that we've created and stuff. So go find it. Love us on there. Smash that subscribe button, as they say
Absolutely.
on the YouTubes. And yeah,
uh Real quick, is there like any sort of differentiating like factor that we'll know it's your YouTube channel? Just so I don't go subscribing to the wrong one.
let me look at it real quick, and I'll tell you. Um, if you search the Scoffs on YouTube, it's
Hmm.
the first one that comes up, and you'll see right below it the Scoff short fuse, and there's a picture of a little bomb. That's on our channel. So if you get there, um, yeah, you're in
All
the right
right,
place.
for sure. Oh, I see the bomb. All right, I found the channel
Cool.
for sure. Just making sure so I don't so I and others don't subscribe to the wrong channel, go
Yeah,
throwing our traffic somewhere else. um so yes, go check out all of that. Any closing words that you guys have?
that's it.
Hey, thanks a bunch for having us on and giving us a chance to talk about the stuff. It's been a great time's flown by, like you say, in this year
Hmm.
and a couple bits, and so it's awesome. Like when people not right here in town hear of us, and really
Hmm.
appreciate you taking time out to include us.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually something I wanted to highlight. That yes, as much as this is a sorry, my whole thing is like it's a local, uh, supposed to be local for Long Beach, and this is you guys are actually like the first band that I interview out of state.
Rad.
Um, yeah, so thank you guys for that as well. There's a first time. So yeah, that's actually I'm just kind of realizing that that's awesome. That's a first for me. So thank you guys for that.
Hey, to the local
It'll
bands down there, when this opens back up, we want to come
Yes,
down and play
indeed.
with you then.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely, yes, we need it. Oh my goodness, that would be awesome. I would love to
Yep.
see
When we
you
get back
guys.
to some version of normal, we're definitely going to head down that way and would love to make a stop in Long Beach.
Oh, absolutely. You got at least one soul ticket,
Right
So
on.
it's not going to be completely empty.
Hey,
No,
we're
but
staying at your house, so we might as well get you into the gig.
oh, for sure. Damn. All right. I'm gonna have to make some changes really quick then.
Yeah, you just found
All
out about
right.
this. So.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
brother.
okay. I have time though. I have time
Yeah,
to prepare.
there you go.
So yes, hopefully whenever this finishes, you guys do get to find your way down here. I definitely want to see you guys live. I love the music and I would love to experience it live. And yes, thank you. Shout out to the Needle City. Um and thank you guys, Nate Nuck. I know Nuck, you said that was it, but no, nothing else you wanted to say.
Final words. I slit the sheet I slit, and on the slitted sheet I sit. I've always wanted to be able to say that.
I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah. Be good to each other, and everybody stop picking on each other. And yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wear a
That threw
mask,
me
wash
off.
your hands, and go vote in November.
That's right. And stay in school.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Eat your vitamins.
Yeah. Take your
All of
Ubers.
that good stuff. Mm-hmm.
All
Take
right,
your
brother.
Valtrex. All
Yeah,
that stuff.
that's.
The world.
Call your
All
grandma.
right.
Call your grandma and say hi.
Absolutely. That actually true. Call your grandma, say hi, tell her you love her, tell your grandpa, tell him you love him, all of
That's
that
right.
good stuff.
Yep.
And with that, that's gonna be the close. I was trying to bring like a super elaborate ending to this. It completely stubbed it. Yeah, I threw it off. Yeah, I tried to be smooth. It didn't work.
Ah, shit.
So
All right.
with that, that's gonna end out this week's episode of Inside the Mind. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Nate and Nuck of the Scoffs for joining me. Go check them out, thescoffs.com. Buy a shirt there, preferably. If you prefer Bandcamp, that's fine. They prefer the Scoffs. They prefer their website, rather. And listen to them on YouTube. Follow them on Instagram at the Scoffs. Follow me on Instagram at Inside the Mind Cast, I believe. And like they said, be nice to you, be nice to each other, and go tell someone you love them. Peace.
All right. Thanks a bunch.
Awesome. Oh man, thank you, Nate. Uh,
You got it.
appreciate it
Thanks a
greatly.
bunch.
Absolutely, thank you. You have a great day, man.
Yeah, you too, man. We'll talk to you later.
Absolutely, peace.